I never put much thought into becoming a leader. Being the youngest of 9 children and growing up on a ranch in Hayes, Montana, in the Little Rocky Mountains, being a leader was the furthest thing from my mind. A lot of the traditional teachings of the Aani focus on being humble and not bringing attention to yourself. You were given constant reminders to not brag yourself up, or to put yourself above others, and to always help others out. With this in mind, I looked at careers and work where I could help people. At Mary College in Bismarck, North Dakota, I was studying to become a social worker. Later on, I transferred to Northern Montana College in Havre, Montana, and I changed my major to education. When it became time to start my student teaching, I failed. The classroom teacher gave me the best piece of advice. He told me, "Don't teach like me. Be yourself. Teach the way you think you should teach." And that piece of advice has stuck with me throughout my career in education. At St. Labre in Ashland, Montana, my principal had asked me if I would be interested in becoming a lead teacher. The responsibilities included doing a duty schedule, setting up team meetings, etc. This became a turning point in my life because for the first time I seriously thought about moving from the classroom and into a role in administration. I worked at the Office of Public Instruction in Helena as a grant manager for the Gear Up program. From there, I moved into the Indian Education Specialist position. The Indian Education for All Act had been on the books for just a few years, but when it was passed, it was an unfunded mandate. The work had been going on for years to provide funding for implementation. Finally, the courts ruled in favor of a lawsuit that included funding for Indian Education for All. The work began on planning on how the OPI was going to spend the initial appropriation to implement Indian Education for All throughout Montana. I began working with Mike Jetty, who at the time was on loan from the Title I division. From Mike, I learned the importance of the Oceti Sakowin concept of making relatives. By welcoming you in and making you a part of the work, Mike was making educators across the state a part of the Tioshbe, the extended family of Indian Education for All. Mike saw the importance of our non-Indian neighbors in Montana carrying out the work on IEFA on behalf of Montana's tribes. He joked with the audiences that once he made you a relative, he could hit you up for $10. His influence on me was immeasurable. I went to work for the Billings Public Schools. It was during that time in Billings that I started with the first cohort in the iLead program. The group of educators I met would become my colleagues, mentors, and many good friendships were established from that time we spent together in Bozeman. The program prepared me well for the challenges I would face as a future school administrator. Many good lessons were taught. One that I use daily is Dr. Erickson's axiom, "Is it your hill to die on?" My greatest influences in iLead were my colleagues. We spent a lot of time studying and sharing information before and after our classes. It was during these discussions when I first heard about servant leadership. I became more and more interested in the topic, so much so that I implemented it into my leadership philosophy. This fall, I'm entering my 9th year as a school administrator, my 6th as superintendent of the Flandreau Indian School in Flandreau, South Dakota. At Flandreau Indian School, we are one of the 4 remaining off-reservation boarding schools in the nation. Our challenges are unique and differ from other schools. Yet we've worked hard to make FIS a school that students can feel good about. We are student-centered and our decisions are based on what's best for our students. We are a trauma-informed campus and we build our programs around that concept.